Hey guys, if you're wondering why I am talking about a random animated short movie, it's honestly just because I want to. I will most likely get one of these types of videos out every month if I have the time, since out of my three tiers of priority, this is at the bottom of the list, since this kind of video will just be a one-off and probably not get that many views. But now getting that explanation out of the way, let's get started. So we start out with this magical pearl forming a sand castle around itself, but I would call it more of a sand fortress since it's not just using loose sand, but what seems like sandstone as well. It also starts to create sand soldiers to protect itself and patrol around the castle. Once it's done building its fortress, a sandstorm starts to form and it brings with it a monster, quickly breaching the defenses of the castle, prying the gate open and swiftly dealing with the soldiers. I really like the shot of the crab coming in and breaking down the gate. It looks like a hand forcing its way in, clawing the gate open. The crab spots the pearl at the top of its tower and makes a beeline for it. Then we see the other soldiers either worrying about the pearl, or how I choose to interpret it, the pearl communicating with them, telling them to combine themselves. And as they do, they turn into a sand knight, with the knight being on a horse with a shield and a lance. But he is then batted away, destroying his horse, with the crab pinning him to the tower. He quickly uses his broken lance, shoving it into the crab's mouth, getting it to back off. The knight then seems to be blessed by the pearl, digging his hands into the sand, and as the storm clouds part, he brings out a giant two-handed sword and charges at the beast. He then realizes the beast starts to back off, and as he turns, he sees a gigantic tsunami towering overhead, and it washes them all away. We then transition to the beach with a broken down sandcastle and the crab scurrying away, and the magical pearl revealing itself to just be a marble. As the credits roll, we get to see some 2D artwork, which is nice, and my favorite one being the knight building a sandcastle with the shovel and pail. Now, I saw this back in 2016, and it always has been one of those animations that stuck in my head because of how cool I thought it was, and how much potential I thought it had. The guards are well designed, getting across their generic look since they are the same, but also making them look regal in how their bodies are designed, along with giving them spears, which is honestly probably a great weapon and an easy weapon for guards to have. Next up is the knight, which seemed to be, besides the crab, the main centerpiece of the animation. Now, with him forming, I originally thought he and his steed were just two soldiers fused together, but you see all four soldiers start running ahead together, and we don't see the other two soldiers again. So I thought they could have done a better job conveying that part, like using one or two more shots of the soldiers fusing together in different ways. Talking about his design, I like that he has shells decorating his body as forms of armor, like his helmet shell, along with his shield, and other bits around his body. He also had his sand lance and what seemed like a shell greatsword. And the sword just reminds me of Guts from Berserk. And lastly, his steed being pretty basic except for the shell mask that we see fall into the sand once it's destroyed. The crab was well done. I don't have much to say about it, design-wise, except I can imagine rigging its mouth movements may have been a challenge with all the moving parts. It seemed it just wanted the pearl because it looked pretty and shiny, or it could have been a great beast lusting for the power the pearl had. But whichever way you wanted to interpret it, it's fine. Looking back at it, I remember that I thought this animation could inspire a cool game based off of it. Like a cool tower defense game where you can send out your soldiers to discover and bring back supplies that the pearl itself could not reproduce. Building up the sandcastle, upgrading and getting better troops as you progress, defending against beach creatures like hermit crabs and birds. Always loved that idea, and it's what probably got me into the different types of games I play today. Now, let's talk about who made the film. If I have this correct, it was made by ESMA or ESMA, which is an animation art school based in France. And this animation was made in 2015. The channel for the school does have a lot of other animations, so after this video, be sure to check them out. I'll have their channel and the film linked in the description. They also have their own channel specifically for the film, so they also made a making of video. So you can check that out as well, and it's pretty interesting. I have it linked in the description as well. I also, throughout this video, been using a rescored version of the original soundtrack. I will have that guy's channel in the description down below, so make sure to check him out and see if you like his stuff. I think that's all I really have to say about the film. I hope you enjoyed me rambling about it, so I hope you liked the video if you're still here, and subscribe if you want to see more content similar to this, or check out my other content and see if you like that as well. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the future. Bye guys.